You're live.
طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So inshallah we'll start off with the questions. As we've mentioned many times before, for those that wish to contact us, schedule, book time, or questions, or any of our services, including marriage, both in person and virtual, counseling, Islamic therapy concerning substance abuse, addiction recovery, wiswas, chronic depression, premarital advice and counseling, uh, guidance regarding divorce, so on and so forth. You can contact us via HadithDiscipleshop.com. For those who wish to schedule us for in-person services, whether they're counseling or therapy services, or actual classes, lectures, programs, you can find out how to do that as well at HadithDiscipleshop.com, along with several other beneficial things. بإذن الله تعالى. وجزاكم الله خيرا. Abir.
Ahsanallah ilayk. In regards to the hadith that were mentioned today, does that allude to the fact that drop shipping would be haram? Or
Bismillah. Drop shipping. Is drop shipping included in that? If it fits, then it fits. I ship something to someone before I,
have it in possession?
or I technically have it in my possession because I have purchased it. I have the ability to refund it, and I've given an accurate description, and it's technically measured. This is what it is, this volume, weight, dimension, so on and so forth. So it's possible to go either of the two ways. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Hamza?
Assalamu alaikum. Is it permissible if you, let's say, if you come from long ride and you didn't pray both Dhuhr and Asr, and you come by Asr and the masjid is right in front of you, and let's say like 30 more minutes in the masjid and you're so tired, is it permissible to just go to sleep?
You
Like pray and then go to sleep?
combine the salats?
No. Okay, let's say if you came back from somewhere tired,
Okay.
somewhere far,
A trip, a journey.
a journey,
Okay.
and you didn't pray Dhuhr and Asr together. You prayed Dhuhr because you knew that you're gonna come back before Asr. Let's say traffic, etc. And you come back 30 minutes before the Iqamah.
Before what iqama?
The Iqamah of the Salah.
What salat, Hamza?
Asr, Salat al-Asr.
Okay, all right.
And there's a masjid right next to you. And you're really, really tired. It's permissible for you to just pray Asr after the Adhan.
To just pray home, you're saying.
Yeah.
If a person is too tired and they fear they won't have the ability to go to the masjid, walking or driving, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. If you fought yourself, sucked it up, quote unquote, took one for the team, fought yourself, and I'm gonna stay up, that's best. But for argument's sake, I'm exhausted. And I know it's a 10-minute drive, 10-minute back. I need to sleep, I'm gonna oversleep later. I'm really, Allah knows the situation. Wallahu alam. Abu Sam, fadl.
Is there a recommended time and frequency for sexual intercourse?
Is there a recommended time or frequency for sexual intercourse? Like, in general, Allah Azza wa Jal commanded the believers to fa'tu harthakum, go unto your tilth. So that's a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it's obligatory or whether it's recommended. So a Muslim is commanded to look after his tilth, look after his garden, to water his garden, to sow the seeds in his garden, based off of the need and based off of the lawful desire for the benefits of one's garden. Okay, so with regards to the frequency, then it's going to range from person to person, place to place, culture to culture. Such as, and hopefully everyone is mature enough to understand this topic, inshallah, I hope so. People's sex drives vary, like people's physical appetites vary. You eat a lot. This person doesn't eat a lot. You have 2 big meals a day. I have 4 small meals. I only have 3 square meals and snacks, etc., etc. So that's going to depend on person to person. So you have to fulfill your desires in the lawful manner based off of the need and based off of the permissibility of fulfilling your want, because it's halal. Okay? So if you and your partner are on the same level, khairan. Simple. As far as if you and your partner are on 2 different levels, you have 2 different types of appetites, then that's where things become problematic in a marriage. A woman wants her husband to be with her more. The husband says, I want to sleep, I'm tired, I was just with you, give me a break, what's the matter with you? And the wife is saying, nothing's the matter with me. You're my husband, you're lawful for me, and this is what I want. Or vice versa, and this is very common. A man wants to be with his wife more, and the woman says, I can't, I have children, or, what do you want me to do? So I think that the first principle is, number 1, need. I need, a person says to his wife or to a husband, I need to be with you right now. Or I need to be with you once a day, or once a week, or once a month, whatever their frequency is of need. And if I get less than this, then it's going to be a problem for my deen, for my sanity, for my well-being, if I don't get this minimum. So that has to be fulfilled, and that's going to be based off of the need of your partner. And then afterwards, halal, there's nothing wrong with it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave the believer taste buds for a wisdom, a reason. The human being can taste his food, right? Human beings don't just eat just to survive. If that was the case, we wouldn't have taste buds. Just like people who say that humans should eat like rabbits. Vegetables, nothing else. You shouldn't eat rice. Rice is bad for you, causes cancer. Meat is, of course, totally out of the question. None of those things you're supposed to eat. You're not supposed to cook your vegetables and your quinoa or this type of grain. You're supposed to eat it raw. And the reason why you have to eat these foods raw is because it causes cancer, diabetes, etc., etc. Like, no problem. But the human anatomy, the teeth that you have in your mouth, are they all the same? Do you have teeth like a goat or lamb or rabbit? You have different types of teeth. Your intestines, your different functions in the body, which clearly prove that it's above and beyond the bare what? Minimum. And from that is intercourse. So therefore, this is the bare minimum that I need, and this is what I want. I can live without it, but I want it. It's lawful to me. So that's going to be based off of you and your wife, or one's wife and one's husband. Now, of course, there is a time limit that some scholars have mentioned with regards to the amount of months in which if a man is not intimate with his wife, then she has the right to demand divorce, right? But in a normal, healthy marriage, if a man doesn't see his wife and he doesn't sleep with his wife once in 3 months, then something is clearly what? Clearly wrong. Unless they're in different countries, far away, she's patient, he's locked up, she's locked up. That's a different story. But we're talking about orthodox, traditional situation. We sleep in the same bed or the same house. I sleep on the sofa, of course. You sleep in the bedroom. And 3 months go by without me and you being together. And then obviously that marriage is extremely unhealthy. Something's wrong. Okay? So therefore, the need and the lawful wants. Okay? And of course, there is no cap on a person's lawful wants. No one can say, oh, you want intercourse too much. Something's wrong with you. You need to have more taqwa. You need to have more zuhud. You just ate. You need to, stop eating. I'm hungry. I want more food. Is it haram for me to eat? You have the things that you like and enjoy, and so do I. So that has to be discussed between partner and partner. And I think one of the big flaws and many big mistakes that many people make in marriages is shaming their husband or their wife. You don't shame people. You have a small appetite, that doesn't mean, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as within the boundaries of what? No discussion. Imam Ahmed stood up like this. Imam Shafi'i this one from the Salaf, he didn't eat in 10 days. Alhamdulillah. But that's not me. Bring the steak on. You understand? I want the lamb chops. It's lawful. Why not? Right? I don't have to starve myself or practice this. There's so many different virtuous acts, preferred acts, things that different people do. Doesn't mean it's haram. All right? So never shame your partner. If your wife wants more intercourse, you should try your best to give it to her. If your husband wants more intercourse from you, you should try to give it to him, and you should not make him to look like some type of, whatever word. You understand? Talib is someone who uses a word, oh, you're this, you're that. What's the problem? You want me to do it in the street? I can find it in the street easily and simply. You want me to look online? What would you prefer? So Shaitan tricks many, many people, and it gets them to think and feel that sexual intercourse has nothing to do with the marriage. And it's all, money, taking care of, paying bills, friendship, and all of that stuff. Like I said, rabbit food. Humans are supposed to just eat green, raw vegetables all day. And that's not how things are. It's not how Allah created the human being. Understood? Hopefully that's clear. And it's a big problem that many people have in their marriages. Many, many people, unfortunately. Allahumma sta'an. Wa yakum. Hamza. Barakallahu feekum.
What's the difference between studying in Cairo, Egypt, and Medina, and Mauritania, and etc.?
Egypt, Mauritania, Medina, etc. Well, it depends on the school. Certain schools are set up differently. You might be in a school in which you're studying fiqh based off of a madhab. And you might be in a school in which you study comparative fiqh. Understand? You might be in a school in which they only offer 2 majors versus a school that offers 8 majors. Or they have those 8 majors into the 2 majors. It may be an issue of the country in which you're living, in which the dialect is different of Arabic. The Arabic that you want to speak in Egypt is very different than Arabic you want to speak in Sudan. Whether it's the local Arabic or even the Fusha. Right? The program and its availability, etc., etc., etc. The Aqidah, that's widespread in that country. You have different people with different Aqidah in all countries. You have people in Saudi Arabia who aren't Wahhabis. Trust me, plenty people who differ and say, I don't believe in that, I don't follow this, no, I don't take that literally, etc. Living in Medina. People who practice and believe different things, but it isn't the what? The dominant Aqidah that's taught and spread. It's not the Aqidah of the regime of the universities, and vice versa. In Egypt or Mauritania or Sudan or Turkey or this country, that country, this may be the widespread Aqidah. But you go to different people, you speak with different people, and you'll find people there upon the Aqidah of Athar. Ahl Hadith, you'll find them there. But they're what? Minority or oppressed, whatever the case may be. So all of these different factors play a role in Medina, Egypt, Mauritania. Traditional studying in the desert, in the masjid, on a tablet, on a piece of wood, versus classroom, in which you have a GPA and grades and exams. This is an old exam of mine. Found this in this book here from Medina. I think it's from the 2nd year. HadithDisciple. Let's see here. اسم المقرر حديث 5. قاعة تاريخ 1430 is when I took this exam. 1430. What's the Hijri date now?
1445.
So this was 15 years. Which one? 14 years ago I took this exam. طيب?
Spend
2 hours to do this exam. This was for the 5th semester of Kulliyat al-Hadith. So the 2nd year. The 1st semester of the 2nd year, 1430. 1429, 1430. And this is السؤال الأول أكمل الأحاديث التالية واذكر صحابي كل حديث وتخريجه أن ناسا تماروا عندها يوم عرفة لا تأخذ في الصدقة إلا من هذه الأصناف. كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يجمع بين رجلين أن أبا بكر الصديق رضي الله عنه لما استخلف كتب له حين وجهه إلى البحرين هذا الكتاب تراءى الناس الهلال دفن مع أبي رجل. السؤال الثاني. So one question has 6 questions in it. ما معنى حديث قام رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم قعد؟ هل الإخبار بموت الميت من النعي المحرم وما الدليل, etc. So the moral of the story is you may have this in which you're filling out, and you may be in the desert or masjid, a sheikh with a stick saying Iqra, recite this, write this. So the different details which separate the different modes of study. What were you doing 14 years ago, Sahib? Hamza. Hamza. Athani. What were you doing 14 years ago?
Mom's belly.
Allahu Alam. Allah knows best. Like, you guys get the point. That's 14 years ago, Tala. 1430. Right? Like, khayr, inshallah. Next question. Anything from online? Fadl ya akhi. Wa yakum.
If you buy something through an agent, representative of yours, and you also sell it through the agent, is that considered as being in your possession?
Buying something from an agent?
Through an agent, a representative of yours who's
Buying?
buying. Let's say you send someone, an agent, a representative of you,
Okay.
he buys something on your behalf.
Understood.
And he also sell that thing on your behalf, and is that considered?
That's fine. A wakil is a wakil. But it can't be two contracts within one.
Can you explain more on that?
So right now, I want you to find me an hourglass. You have access to my money. I tell you the style of hourglass that I want. You make the decision. Pull the trigger when you see fit. Understood? And as well, so that's with regards to you buying from me. Now me buying from you, meaning you sell other products, correct? Whether you're the agent for someone else or whether it's you actually the owner of those products. But it cannot be two contracts within one. You buy me the hourglass and then in turn I purchase this book stand from you. La. Two different contracts. You brought me back the hourglass, Jazakallah khairan, on a new slate. You also sell book stands. The money, the transfer of the money, it has nothing to do with, understand? Whether you're an agent for someone else or these are your actual book stands. Clear? Wallahu ta'ala alam. Mamoon Fatum.
For example, like some people in real estate, it's called flipping a deed. You buy a house, you phrase transfer to your name, they sell that for more money. Is that
Included in this for sure. I don't have the house yet, but I do have so technically it's mine. So it can fall under that, whether it's lawful or unlawful based off of those madhabs. And obviously the safest thing is to avoid this. And one of the wisdoms behind this, wallahu alam, as we said before, even if it is an issue of riba, you don't know what's going to happen. And I think one of the worst things that can happen to a person in business is bad reputation. It's just not a good thing. And there's nothing like you going there, touching the house, feeling the bricks. I saw it myself. These are the rooms, it's the yard, this and that, so on and so forth. And I have the deed, I stand behind. It's a good house, you'll like it. Understand? Wallahu ta'ala alam. Father Abir, if there's anything.
LH Queens, New York City. Assalamu alaikum, beloved and generous sensei. What advice would you give someone to do who has been afflicted with suicidal thoughts caused either by jinn possession or not? Thank you.
May Allah make it easy for all the Muslims. Protect you and protect us all from suicide. You need to do a good, thorough ruqyah. And you need to continue doing a good, thorough ruqyah on yourself daily. And avoid being by yourself. Avoid being alone. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
MA Bronx, New York. Can I touch the Quran when I'm not in wudu or on my menses? Is it haram too?
Tayyib. The best thing to do is do not touch the mushaf unless you have full purity. Meaning ghusl, and if a person doesn't need to make ghusl, then they have full wudu. That's the safest thing to do, and that is the most respectful thing to do. As far as is it mandatory, meaning I'll get a sin if I touch the mushaf without wudu, then that's a different discussion. But just make wudu, have wudu, inshallah ta'ala. That's give the mushaf the most respect that you possibly can. And make it a holy book, right? And letter and in spirit, meaning, you believe that it's a holy book, of course, but the actual physical application of it is that it's so holy and sacred I can't touch it unless what? I have wudu. That's the best thing, what? To do. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
RN, Brooklyn, New York. Can you wipe over socks when your purification for prayer came from ghusl and then you wear socks?
Can you wipe over socks once you made or when your purification came from a ghusl? Yes, you can. So, a person was junub, they made a ghusl janaba, dried off, put on their socks, put on their shoes, went to work. Later on, it's time for salat. They may wudu over their socks or over their boots. That's lawful. It doesn't have to be a wudu. Any water purification that uplifted your spiritual impurity. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.
IR, Detroit, Michigan.
Hamza, the Great Lakes. Fadda. The Great Lakes, what are they? Sufyan.
It's like Southern Ontario, Michigan, something.
Oh, I'm listening. I'm on.
Mississippi.
Oh man, Mississippi River, Haki. Lakes, Great Lakes, not rivers.
Lake Erie?
Lake Erie. Tayyib.
That's all I got.
Lake Placid.
La Hamza. Sahid. Yassine.
Lake Michigan.
Abu Hussam. It's a very simple, easy way of memorizing them. Holmes. Huron.
Ontario.
Ontario.
Michigan.
Michigan.
Superior.
Erie, Akhi, Holmes, then Superior. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, Superior. You got it?
That's 5.
How? Who said it was 4?
No, you said 7 Great Lakes.
I said 7?
No.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, sorry.
I thought I should say Great Lakes.
Yeah, you just said
Sorry,
Great Lakes.
I misheard.
Khairan. طيب تفضل.
IR, Detroit, Michigan. Why do some Muslims pray directly east?
Why do some Muslims pray directly east? Some Muslims may be of the understanding that the only thing that is important is the main direction. North or south, some Muslims may believe that what's important is east. All right? And whether that is a correct understanding or not, I would say that there is some basis to that in traditional fiqh. Some basis to it. The most important thing is the main direction. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
CB, College Park, Maryland. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. كيف الحال مفتي؟ أحبك في الله.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته أحبك الذي أحببتني فيه بارك الله فيك الحمد لله نحن بخير ولله الحمد وأنتم.
BAB, Germantown, Maryland. If your pants show your front as a man, no matter how many layers you wear, is it permissible to wear it?
If your pants show your front, no matter how many layers of clothes you wear, is it permissible to wear it as a man? The answer to the question should be self-explanatory. The question itself. If your front is exposed, no matter how many layers you wear, then you should what?
Not wear it.
Don't wear that style of clothing, right? Wear a longer shirt. Wallahu ta'ala alam. And I will say this. There's a lot of controversy with regards to thobes, with regards to izars, qamis, a lot of controversy. People saying you can't wear it, you should wear it, you have to wear it, etc. But there lies no doubt a thobe oftentimes brings you peace of mind. There's so many different things you don't have to worry about when you have on a thobe. You're not worried about this rising or clenching or this. It's bismillah, done. End of discussion. Or with an izar. There's so many things you don't have to worry about when you wear an izar. Right? Versus I have pants, which are my work pants, but I have to put this down when I pray, and if I bend over like this, and if I lean the wrong way, and kada, keep it simple. Bring yourself peace of mind. Allah ta'ala alam.
BM, Ajax, Ontario. Please give some advice. A young brother who's separated from his wife, and his wife is giving him a hard time to allow him to see his young son.
Question is regarding a divorced couple, unfortunately, and the mother of the child is supposedly giving the ex-husband, the father of the child, a hard time seeing his child. Correct?
No.
Right. Well, custody and custody battles are difficult. They're challenging. Everybody has to fear Allah. That's my first piece of advice. Fear Allah. If you oppress your ex-husband, you'll be asked and questioned about that. If you oppress your ex-wife, you'll be asked and questioned about that. If you oppress your son or your daughter, who needs both parents, the daughter, the baby girl, needs the man in her life. Not the boy, the rough, tough warrior, the tender girl needs a father. So if you're the reason behind your daughter being deficient and growing up having daddy issues, serious daddy issues, all the different things that she falls into as a result of those daddy issues will be your fault. Your son, your tough son, right? Who looks just like you, etc. He needs his mom, whether you like it or not. Most boys, one may say all of them, but for sure most are what? Mama's boys. For many years out of their lives. Then they, leave home, leave the nest, so on and so forth, and they have to break out of the mama's boyism. And some people don't never what? They never break out of it. You go home, your mom, she fixes your favorite dish, right? You smiling with a spoon. Now she says, that's how you used to sit when you were a little tiny boy with the fat cheeks, right? And the baby fat you used to have, right? You used to play around. You're no different, right? So a boy child needs his mother. He needs his mother. And oftentimes the baby boy needs the mother more than the father, especially at a young age. So if your son grows up without his mother, and all of the major problems that he's going to have in life because he didn't have his mother like that, you're responsible. So the punishment from Allah, the questioning from Allah, but the fact that do you want to allow your child to grow up messed up? Do you love your child? Do you hate your ex-husband that much that you're going to mess your child up just to get at him? What type of person are you? You're ugly. You're an ugly monster. And what you're willing to ruin your child's upbringing just out of spite. I can't stand him, so therefore. So just cut the ex-husband out the picture. As we say, H-E double hockey sticks with the ex-husband. I hate his guts, he's a this, he's a that. But the innocent son, what did he do? What did he do? What's his sin why he can't be with his father? What's her sin why she can't be with her father? So something is wrong with you, really messed up in your head, in which you're willing to just do those nasty things to your child because of a beef that has nothing to do with your child. So after fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my advice is to be a professional. If you get divorced, you have to be a professional parent. It's not about me, but it's about my son. I can't stand looking at you. And subhanAllah, how the heart changes. Just yesterday, you were my what? We were inseparable, lovebirds. The greatest thing since halal bacon, right? No doubt. Now you're a horrible, evildoer, wicked, sinner, fasiq, irresponsible, delinquent, disgrace of a man. That's how the heart changes. But think about your child. Your child doesn't know those things about him. Your child says, Abby's coming. I'm going with Abby. Abby's taking me to the park. No, you're not going nowhere with him. So, Allahul Musta'an, we suffer from so many different disorders, so many different sicknesses, and we oftentimes will become evil monsters, and we don't realize the people that we hurt just for our own personal desires. So beware of that, okay? Try your best to iron out any problems that you have with your ex-husband or your ex-wife. Don't be spiteful. The Quran clearly mentions this. Okay? The mother is not to be harmed with her child, nor is the father to be harmed through his child. Okay? And at worst, or at best or worst, be a professional, guys. It's not about you, but it's about your child. And of course, you yourself, make sure that you eliminate, if you can, and if not, minimize the reasons for your ex-wife or your ex-husband to say the child can't go with you. You said, I'm not this, so I have this. You said such and such, so I did this, right? And sometimes an ex-wife or ex-husband, they may be right. I'm not preventing you from seeing your son, but your lifestyle was messed up. Or such and such. So, it's you got to seek Allah's help. Allahumma musta'an.
FK London, UK. Assalamu alaikum. I've heard there's a tafsir for ayah number 2 of Surah Al-Kawthar that 3 Sahaba said it means to put the hands over the chest in Suyuti's Durr al-Manthur. Are they sahih?
طيب. there are narrations with regards to that verse and putting the hands over the chest. Are they sahih? I can't say that. I wouldn't necessarily say that they are sound. And if they were sound, wallahu alam, for sure, then of course the argument wouldn't be this vicious of an argument of where do the hands belong. Rather, that would be a very, very strong proof in itself. So, what Sahaba supposedly said that? Who were they? Is the chain of narration going back to them sound? And what did the other Sahaba say regarding that ayah, right? And the concept of where do the hands belong? Allah surely knows best. We can look back into this more. Suyuti's book, Ad-Durr al-Manthur, is an excellent source of tafsir. And Suyuti often quotes from a book that is missing, that we don't have actual access to. So that's another issue. Oftentimes, Suyuti quotes a tafsir that was lost during it didn't reach us. He had access to it. And sometimes the chain of narration isn't what? Mentioned. So, Allahu Alam, yundhar fi hadha. What's important is the issue of placing the hands, where do the hands go, is a very long, momentous issue. And it is unnecessary for the Muslims and the people of knowledge to fight over these issues. Someone says the solar plex, abdomen, on the navel, beneath the navel. It's unnecessary to make wars over these issues. Secondly is, many people mistakenly claim that a person is from Ahlul Hadith or Ahlul Hadith or they're Hanafis just because of these issues. Ahlul Hadith or Hanafi is deeper than that. It's not just one isolated issue like we mentioned last night, right? So what's important is don't fight over these issues. If you believe that the hand should go beneath the navel, that's fine. Don't call the person who says above the navel an innovator. If you believe that the chest or the hand should be at the abdomen over the navel, or wahakadha, right? Wallahu ta'ala alam. And of course, last thing I will say about this issue, as many scholars have explained some of the wisdoms behind the hands being on the chest, or the hands being folded first and foremost, and being at some height above, and the wisdoms behind that. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.
IR Detroit, Michigan. Is a woman wearing rings tabarruj?
A woman wearing a ring, is it tabarruj? Well, I think it depends on how you look at it. Obviously, if she's uncovering her hands and her face, she considers it lawful to do so. I don't have to cover my hands and my face in front of strange men. Tayyib. What can go on your hands and your face? Lipstick, lip balm, eyeliner, rouge, highlighter, henna on the nails, etc., etc., etc. The general rule is that if your hands and face are uncovered in front of non-mahram men, there shouldn't be any zina, any type of adornment. Are there narrations from the Sahaba, Abdullah ibn Abbas, and others from the Salaf, that a khatam is from the lawful zina, illa ma dhahara minha? If there are, what's meant by those narrations? Does ring on a woman who has her hands covered and is shown? A ring that is simple and plain? A ring that draws a lot of attention, etc. So the safest thing is that if you don't cover your hands and your face, you shouldn't wear extra additional means of adornment and beautification. That's the general rule. But for argument's sake, if a sister uncovers her hands and her face, she doesn't consider it to be mandatory, and she wears a simple ring, which isn't that gaudy or attracting, a thirst trap or whatever, bringing people's attention. Some people may allow that and say that that's from the lawful zina. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
GM, Atlanta, Georgia. Having trouble with two hadith. First thing on Qiyamah being asked about is your blessings, and first thing to be held accountable for is salah. Is salah the means to reckoning regarding your blessings?
Right, this will be our last question tonight, inshallah ta'ala. There are several hadiths regarding the first thing that the son of Adam will be asked about on the Day of Judgment. The first thing that Allah will ask the people about on the Day of Judgment. أَوَّلُ مَا يُقْضَى بَيْنَ الْعِبَادِ. The first thing that the servants will be judged on etc. Several hadiths. Just like there are different hadiths with regards to the greatest sin, the biggest sins, what's the most virtuous deed, what's the most beloved deed, etc. There's no contradiction between none of these authentic hadiths. There are things that the servants will be asked about individually. There are things that the servants will be asked about collectively. There are things that the servants will be asked about first with regards to their rights, the rights of Allah, or the rights among their fellow human beings. And there are certain hadith in what's meant by the first thing is from the first things. From the earliest things that will be spoken on and asked about on the Day of Judgment is this act, that act, that act. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam wa baraka ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina wa Muhammad wa barakallahu fikum.